Looking beyond immediate success and failure, the secret of masters of success. Have you ever felt ecstatic, believing you had just struck a stroke of luck, only to later realize it wasn't as great as you thought? Or have you ever been devastated by a misfortune, only to later discover that it was actually the turning point that changed your life for the better? Life is full of surprises, and the way we define an event, whether as good or bad, fortunate or unfortunate, often depends solely on what we see at the moment. But what if the things you celebrate or grieve over today are not the final outcome? Imagine you just lost a job opportunity that you had been eagerly waiting for. You feel crushed, believing that luck is not on your side. But months later, you land an even better job, one that exceeds all your expectations. At that moment, would you still consider the day you were rejected as a misfortune? Life operates in unpredictable ways. What seems like a stroke of luck at first may later turn into misfortune, and vice versa. The key is not whether something appears good or bad at the moment, but how you perceive it in the long run. To truly grasp this concept, let me take you through an ancient story that has stood the test of time. The story of Sa Wang losing his horse. This tale will transform the way you view life's ups and downs, helping you cultivate a mindset of calmness, wisdom, and resilience, rather than being swayed by fleeting circumstances. So, pour yourself a cup of tea, settle in, and let's dive into this timeless lesson. Once upon a time, in a small village near the border, there lived an old man with his son. The villagers called him Sa Wang. He was known for his calm and composed nature, never overly joyful, nor excessively sorrowful about any event in life. One day, Sa Wang owned a strong and beautiful horse. Everyone in the village admired it and remarked on how lucky he was to possess such a fine steed. But then one day, the horse unexpectedly ran away into the forest. Hearing the news, the villagers rushed to console him. What bad luck! Losing such a valuable horse is truly unfortunate. However, Sa Wang simply smiled and said, "Who knows? Perhaps within this misfortune, there is a hidden blessing." A few weeks later, the horse not only returned, but also brought along a strong and wild stallion. Seeing this, the villagers eagerly congratulated him. "You are so fortunate. Now you not only have your old horse back, but also a new one." But Sa Wang remained calm and replied, "Who knows? Perhaps within this blessing, there is hidden misfortune." His son, enchanted by the beauty of the wild horse, eagerly tried to ride it. However, since the horse had not yet been tamed, he was thrown off and broke his leg. Once again, the villagers came to express their sympathy. "What terrible misfortune! Your son is injured. How will he ever walk normally again?" Sa Wang simply responded, "Who knows? Perhaps within this misfortune, there is hidden blessing." A few months later, war broke out. All the young men in the village were conscripted into the army, and many never returned. However, because of his injury, Sa Wang's son was exempted from military service. At that moment, the villagers finally understood. You are truly fortunate. If your son hadn't broken his leg, he would have been sent to war just like the others. Yet, Sa Wang simply smiled and replied, "Who knows? Perhaps within this blessing, there is hidden misfortune." The story of Sa Wang losing his horse begins with what seemed to be an unfortunate event. His prized horse ran away. His neighbors all sympathized with him, viewing it as a great loss, but the old man remained calm and said, "Losing a horse might be bad luck, but it might also be a blessing. Who can say?" And indeed, not long after, the horse returned, bringing along a wild stallion. The villagers rejoiced, congratulating him on such unexpected fortune. But once again, he simply responded, "Gaining a horse might seem like a blessing, but it could just as easily turn into misfortune. Who can say?" What is the lesson here? Most of us have a tendency to quickly label events. If something aligns with our desires, we consider it good luck. If it goes against our expectations, we see it as misfortune. However, life is not that simple. A single event does not determine your entire fate. Imagine working tirelessly on an important project, only for it to fail. You feel discouraged, believing it to be a major setback in your career. But later, that very failure teaches you valuable lessons and opens doors to even greater opportunities, perhaps leading you to work on a bigger project or even start your own successful business. Looking at the life of J.K. Rowling, the author of Harry Potter, we see a perfect example of resilience. Before achieving fame, she was rejected by more than 12 publishers. If she had quickly labeled herself as unlucky and given up after just a few failures, the world would never have known the legendary Harry Potter series. But she didn't rush to conclusions, she persisted. And in the end, Harry Potter became a global phenomenon. Life is never absolutely good or bad. Everything is just part of a much larger journey. The only thing you can do is stay calm, observe, and avoid making quick judgments. Don't let your emotions take over too much. Instead, wait and see how the story unfolds. But here's something important to reflect on. Are you certain that everything happening in your life is purely fate? Or could it be that sometimes your own poor decisions are the real cause? If you fail in an investment because you didn't research the market thoroughly, can you really call it bad luck? If you lose a relationship due to your own anger and stubbornness, is that truly just fate? Being calm does not mean being passive, nor does it mean abandoning responsibility for your life. There are events beyond your control, but there are also things entirely within your power. And if the bad luck you experience is actually a result of your own mistakes, then the right response is not to sit back and wait for fortune to change, but to reflect, learn from it, and improve yourself. So, how do you know when to calmly accept a situation and when to take action to change it? Let's dive into the next section to better understand the impermanence of life and why you should neither be too pessimistic nor overly optimistic about anything. Life is always changing. Don't be too pessimistic or overly optimistic. If there's one certainty in life, it's that everything changes. The story of the old man who lost his horse is a perfect example. What seems bad today may turn out to be good tomorrow. What appears fortunate now may later bring difficulties. Life flows like a river, constantly shifting, never remaining the same. Now take a moment and ask yourself, have you ever looked back and realized that something painful actually led to an opportunity? Or have you ever experienced joy only for it to later turn into a burden? Everything is impermanent, yet most people tend to get stuck in their emotions at a given moment. When they fail, they believe their life is over, that there's no hope left. When they succeed, they assume everything will always go their way, never changing. But what is the truth? Nothing lasts forever. Joy comes and goes, sorrow fades away. Success today may become tomorrow's challenge, and today's failure could be the stepping stone to future success. Today, Leonardo da Vinci is celebrated as one of the greatest minds in human history. But did you know that for many years, he was unrecognized in his time? His inventions, sketches, and pioneering ideas about airplanes, submarines, and human anatomy were considered unrealistic by his contemporaries. If Da Vinci had accepted that reality and given up, the world might never have known the Mona Lisa or the groundbreaking scientific foundations he left behind. Before becoming one of Britain's greatest prime ministers during World War II, Winston Churchill endured countless political failures. He was removed from the cabinet, criticized for poor military decisions, and dismissed as a politician past his prime. Yet, in the darkest hours of history, he rose to the occasion with his legendary words, "Never, never, never give up." Through unwavering perseverance and an unbreakable spirit, Churchill led Britain through the toughest days of war, securing his place as one of the most remarkable leaders in history. This only further proves that neither glory nor failure is ever permanent. Practical exercise, learning to see life as a flow. Take 5 minutes for a simple yet powerful exercise that will help you develop a more resilient mindset in the face of life's uncertainties. Step 1. Reflect on past changes. Grab a notebook, open your phone, or start a note in your email. Write down an event that once made you feel deeply disappointed or upset, but later turned out to be a blessing in disguise. Example, losing a job, which eventually led you to a much better opportunity. An event that initially brought you joy, but later introduced unexpected challenges or difficulties. Example, achieving career success, but facing overwhelming pressure as a result. Step 2. Extract the lesson. How has your perspective on those events changed over time? If you could go back to that moment, what would you tell yourself? Step 3. Apply to the present. Now, take a moment to reflect on a challenge you are currently facing. Is there a possibility that this struggle could lead to something better in the future? How can you leverage this situation instead of letting it bring you down? Step 4. Create a personal mantra. When facing difficulties, remind yourself of these powerful affirmations. This too shall pass. Nothing lasts forever. I can't control everything, but I can control how I respond. By shifting your mindset, you transform challenges into stepping stones for growth. Benefits of this exercise. Recognize that nothing is absolute. What seems good or bad is only temporary. Reduce negativity when facing setbacks and avoid overconfidence when things go well. Cultivate a flexible mindset, helping you stay steady amidst life's ups and downs. Try it now. It only takes 5 minutes, but it could completely shift the way you see life forever. You see, the story of Sa Wang lost his horse is more than just an old folktale. It's a powerful lesson on how we navigate life. Everything in life is subject to change. What brings you joy today might become tomorrow's challenge. But if you look beyond the immediate moment, what seems like misfortune now could actually be the stepping stone to something better in the future. Remember, when you succeed, stay humble, because nothing lasts forever. When you fail, don't lose heart, because setbacks often pave the way for growth. Rather than being swept away by emotions in the heat of the moment, learn to observe and embrace life with calmness, not to become indifferent, but to face life with resilience and clarity. Which path will you choose? Will you try to control everything, only to be disappointed when life doesn't go as planned? Or will you cultivate a flexible mindset, embracing every twist and turn as part of your journey? Life goes on, and you always have a choice in how you respond to it. Let this story be your guiding light, helping you stay steady amidst life's uncertainties. If you found this lesson valuable, share it with others so they too can gain a new perspective. Tell me, have you ever experienced a situation that seemed bad at first, but later turned out to be a blessing in disguise? I'd love to hear your story. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more thought-provoking stories and lessons. See you in our next Tea Time conversation.